Hey, good morning, everyone. Michael Falk here. We are going live today to cook a traditional St. Patrick's Day meal or a traditional Irish meal in preparation for St. Paddy's Day. I usually do videos about kilt life and nomad life and whatnot, but some of my coworkers at Zoo Digital have asked me to, or they put out the word that they wanted somebody to do a cooking sort of video in order to get people hyped for St. Paddy's Day coming up here on the 17th. So I stepped up and said, I think I can do that. I do videos on TikTok all the time. So I'm going to go live here. I am going to cook some bread and some cottage pie in Dutch ovens here on the beach. I'm in La Ventana, Baja California Sur, down in Mexico. But I will be spending the next couple of hours just cooking and prepping, and you guys get to watch me. And then when I'm done with this video, I'll go ahead and send it to our fun committee over at Zoo Digital, and they can then share it with the rest of the company. We have an international localization company that I work for, and we can share this video with our folks in Sheffield and London and Mumbai and Korea and some of my other coworkers in Japan and some other places around the world, just to kind of give them an idea of what I'm doing for St. Paddy's Day. So enjoy. But let's get some bread going here, okay? So what we're going to start with is I've warmed up some water here in my protein shake container because we want to get some yeast in here. We're gonna drop some yeast in. I wanted to do a sourdough, but I didn't have enough time to prep my sourdough starter. My sourdough starter lives inside the Jeep in a jar there, but it is not as active as I'd like it to be. So we're going to cheat a little bit, and we're going to do some regular yeast. So while you guys are watching my flour here for just a second, I'm going to go get a little bit of salt. All right. I need about half a tablespoon. Let's get just like a little bit of sea salt. Drop that in there. All right, let's set that aside. Shake that up really, really well. Make sure it's really well incorporated. Close up. What are you doing there, knucklehead? All right, and once that's incorporated, we're going to dump it right into the flour. Get that in there like that. Okay. And come here, you. My wooden spoon, and I want a little bit of rosemary. As I showed you guys earlier, I've got a rosemary plant that I carry with me because it's hard to find rosemary down here in Mexico. So I've got some rosemary that I carry with me for cooking and whatnot. And I'm just going to go ahead and put some of it in here in my in with my bread. And now let's go ahead and this is supposed to be like a no knead dough. I wanted to keep it nice and simple because I am focused very much on the cottage pie today. So let's just go ahead and get all this mixed up. I don't mind getting my hands dirty in the dough, but let's try to keep it simple. I may have to need this a little bit anyway just to keep it going. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to get my hands in there, get them a little dirty. Why not? Ah, yuck. Yeah. Well, this is fun. Hey, get back here, you. All right, so I've made a little bit of a mess. Let's scrape that off. Alrighty. All right, now what we're going to do with this is we're just going to cover it up and let it sit in a warm place for a little bit while I go ahead and dice up some potatoes and whatnot. Let's get some potatoes going. I'll bring you guys over to the the stove on the inside of the Jeep that I'm going to use here in a few minutes to cook the potatoes. I'm cooking the cottage pie and the bread inside the Dutch oven, but a lot of the prep I'm going to be doing here on over on my stove inside the Jeep. So I like mashed potatoes with the skin still on. So I'm going to go ahead and make these like this. It doesn't bother me at all. I love sort of some more of a, like a, what do you call it? Homestead kind of mashed potato myself. What the hell that is? Oh, that's icky stuff on there. So for those of you that don't know what cottage pie is, think shepherd's pie, um, but with ground beef instead of lamb. Shepherd's pie is made with lamb, diced lamb to be more precise. And again, I would have loved to have made a shepherd's pie, but I am down in Mexico, and there are certain things that are, pardon me, more difficult to find down here, including lamb. So let's see here. I don't know if I'm going to need all these potatoes, but let's get them going anyway. I love a raw potato too. I don't know why. I think that's enough. Pardon me. Go ahead and get our pot. I lost a potato. Good thing I left that last potato over there. All right. What we're going to do now is we're going to switch over. I'm going to grab the phone here, and we are going to switch over to the stove on the inside of the Jeep here. Got my Coleman stove here. We're going to get some water in there. All right. Let's do that. So I'm going to set this down for just a second here while we get the potatoes a boiling. All right. I'm going to let the potatoes boil, and while the potatoes are boiling, I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and cut up some carrots and the onion really quickly here. Get this ready. And again, I don't mind skins on my carrots, so I am going to dice these up a little bit more. Not really dice. I guess I'm just going to chop them. I don't like them to be too big in the cottage pie. I also don't like them to be too small. I may have too many here. I don't think I need all 4 of these. Get out of here, you. But again, I like to leave the skins on a lot of my vegetables. Not on my onion, obviously, but I'll leave the skins on the carrots here. I think there's some pretty decent nutrients in there that are lost when you peel them. So now I'm not a professional chef. I am a professional artist. So when I'm cooking, I just cook to have fun, which is what you can see right here. This goofy nonsense. All right. So we'll get the carrots ready there. Set that off to the side. Get over there. Get over there. Let's do some onion now. Another thing that was really difficult to find down here was yellow onion. So red, I'm not usually a fan of red onions. They're a little too pungent for me, but I could not find any sweet onions, no yellow onions whatsoever. So here I am. And I know there's a lot of TikTok videos about better ways to cut the onion. I've seen a few of them. I have not practiced yet, so you guys are getting my regular old amateur onion slicing technique here, where I make a mess. So, but if you are one of those chefs or even at-home cooks that has mastered that, please bear with me. I do want to be able to do that at some point. I just am not ready to learn it just yet. Now, I am a huge garlic fan. So if I add too much garlic as we go here, bear with me. I'm going to use 2 cloves for this. I think even 2 cloves might not be enough for me, but we'll see. All right, use the side of my knife to smash them and get the skins off here. And don't worry about all the stuff that I'm throwing on the ground. I am absolutely going to clean up after myself. I do not leave a mess on the beach. I am a leave no trace person. So just let you know that ahead of time. Yeah, I do not like leaving messes behind when I'm camping or hiking or anything of that nature. So One of the things that I really like about this new kind of lifestyle that I've chosen for myself is I've become part of a community that is really fantastic. Like really, really awesome van life and sort of nomad life people that I've met. And I've really been enjoying that quite a bit. So I think I'm going to be doing this for a while. I mean, I don't really need to be in a, I don't know, I guess I don't really need to be in a house, so I'm enjoying this. All right. So I am actually cooking boiling the potatoes right now for the mashed potatoes that go on top of the um, cottage pie. I'm going to go ahead and while that's boiling, I'm going to go ahead and get the uh, ground beef out and get ready to cook us some ground beef. To the cooler a little bit and get out our ground beef. So, beer, garlic, potatoes. We'll set those on the ground because we don't need them just yet. Let's get in here, and we are going to need some Philadelphia cream cheese. I like to put cream cheese in my mashed potatoes. I do have some butter here. We're going to need that. Let's see what else we've got here, shall we? Ground beef. Got it. Come here, you. Here's my ground beef. Let's go ahead and get that in the pan. I will be right back. Just go ahead and get this started. Now, one of the things you guys will see when I bring the camera over, one of the things that is very unusual is the ground beef here in Mexico does not look like the ground beef back up in the States. It's not as red. They don't add a lot of color and whatnot to it to make it look. I don't know. I guess in the States we add color to make it look more vital. I suppose. I don't know. But anyway, here it's just regular old ground beef, so it looks a little bit more like a dull pink. I'll show you what I mean here. Let's go ahead and go take a look at it. All right. So you can see it's not as bright red as it would be from an American grocery store. So let's go ahead and let that cook for a little bit. We'll cook that down. I've got another pound of it that I'm going to put in there when this is done. Let's let that cook down for a little bit. Let's see where we are. Potatoes are going good. Our bread is going good. Our coals are over here. I've just got some coals. I'm going to have to start some new coals. So let's talk about Dutch oven cooking here for just a second while I've got a break in between stuff here. When I cook with this Dutch oven, let's see, send, just sending it to people. When I cook in this Dutch oven, I'm going to put a number of coals on the bottom of the pot, and then I'm actually going to put coals on top as well. And there's a chart that you can use that tells you how many coals on top, how many coals on bottom, and what kind of temperature that will give you inside the Dutch oven. All right, so you'll see that when we get started cooking here in just a little bit. All right, our ground beef is getting going. Now, I don't necessarily have to cook my ground beef all the way. I'm cooking it most of the way because I'm going to put it in the Dutch oven here in a little bit with some of the other ingredients. Okay. And matter of fact, let's go ahead and get the Dutch oven. I'll be right back. All right, so I've set the Dutch oven on the fire, on the coals. And what we're going to do is we are going to take this batch of ground beef. I'm going to put it right in the Dutch oven. All right, let's go ahead and get it going in there. You can go in there for a little bit. There we go. Let's get the other batch going. This here. Take our ground beef. You can see what I mean by When I say it's not like really pink like it is in American grocery stores, but it's still going to be just as yummy. This actually has a much, much higher fat count. I asked the lady in the grocery store yesterday. Now, I do speak fluent Spanish, but I get lost from time to time if I'm rushing things. So I had to ask her twice, but apparently this is close to 50% fat. So I've got a lot of fat going on in here. A lot more than you would normally. You'd normally have like 30% in an American ground beef packet. Here's my trash. Sorry, you don't need to see my trash. All right, so there we go. We got our potatoes going strong over here. Potatoes going good. I'm going to let those boil down and soften up so we can make mashed potatoes for the top. We've got this going on in here. Let's go check our ground beef that's in the pot here. Kind of get this away from the fire so I can work with it without burning my face off. Break this up here. All right. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to get a little well going here. Get all this chopped up. Get a little well going in the middle. And that's where I'm going to saute my garlic and my onions. And also get ready to drop in the carrots. And I've also got some corn. Don't let me forget the corn because it's in the freezer. I didn't want to have to like scrape kernels off of the corn, and I didn't want to have to worry about opening a can. So I've got frozen corn kernels. Don't let me forget the corn kernels. That's an important part. So there we go. Once we get some coals going here, we'll be able to start sauteing the garlic and the onions and get everything else into the pot. So there you go. How about a sip of beer? So in the words of my elders, Cade mi la falcha, which means 1,000 welcomes. Thank you for joining me today. And of course, everyone knows this one, slanja or slanjava. Cheers. Now, while we're waiting for the coals to go, let's talk about kilts. Since I love doing kilt related content. Today, I am wearing the Irish Heritage tartan that I picked up from UT Kilts. The drop is a little short, so you can see a little bit more of my knee than I like. I like usually a 24-inch drop, and I think I bought a 22 by mistake. So it's riding low on my waist in order to cover up my knees. I don't want to look like I'm in a mini skirt. But in addition to my Irish Heritage tartan, you can also see I've got my kilt pin, which is it is a claymore broadsword, which is the traditional Scottish kilt pin, but also this is inlaid with the Harp of Erin, Eireann, Erin, the Harp of Erin, which is the Harp of Ireland. That's what that signifies. And then right above that, I've got my fouled anchor. As a retired Navy Chief Petty Officer, I like to have something like that every once in a while, like on a part of my kilt. I don't want to be one of those vet bros that's always out, wearing emblazoned hats and T-shirts and all that stuff. I don't want to do that anymore. I just don't want to be that guy. But I do happen to, every once in a while, have just a little something on there to remind me, where I came from. So follow me on TikTok. What the sport is. Matter of fact, I'm going to turn the camera around here again, and let's talk about, while some of this stuff is getting going, let's talk about the sporran. This is a sporran. This is my day sporran. I also have another sporran. If you've seen some of my videos, I've got one with like fox fur tassels on it. This is just my regular leather day sporran. The pin is right here for the sporran, and inside of there is my emergency supplies, like my emergency whiskey, my spoon. There's a tactical pen in there. There is some cyanoacrylate glue, which comes in handy for a lot of different things, but also for cuts and abrasions. All right, so that's good to have. I've got some important stuff in a dry bag, including my field notes, my passport's in there. There's a tampon in there because you never know when you're going to need one. You might be hiking with a female friend. She needs one, you've got one. But also they're great for knife wounds and, shallow bullet wounds. You can kind of like stick that baby in there and sop up some of that blood. What else is in here? Oh, yeah, let's see. Oh, my fire starter. Now I usually have a knife in here as well, but since I am wandering around Mexico, I do not want to have any kind of trouble. I've already had some trouble with the authorities down here over a pocket knife, and I'm not going to do that again. So my knife has been taken out of the sporn and now resides inside the Jeep, so I don't have any trouble. All right, you can see our coals are getting nice and hot now, and they will be ready to start placing above and below. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to come over here and grab my shovel. All right, move the coals around a little bit. Got some nice gray on the coals. And what I want to do is I want to pull some of the coals off to the side first. And you'll see why in a second why I'm doing that, although I don't want to cover them with sand. All right, let's do this here. We'll pull some of these coals off. Now, I've already checked some of the calculations and I'm pretty close. I'm going to use these coals on the bottom here. All right. And what we're going to do is we're going to put our Dutch oven right back on top of these coals. All right. And once that's in place, now what we'll do, and this is another reason why this tool is so great to have, we're going to take these coals that I brought out of the fire and we're going to drop them on top of the lid in different areas. And what that does is it allows you to have a really, really constant amount of heat all the way around and inside the Dutch oven. See, I'm not cooking inside of a conventional oven out here, so there's going to be more heat on the bottom of my Dutch oven than there would be on top. So in order to alleviate that, we just go ahead and drop some of the coals on top, and then the heat radiates all throughout the Dutch oven. Now, if you've done Dutch oven cooking before, you already know this, but for those of you that don't, I figured I'd share it with you. All right, so we can go ahead and let that heat up for a second, and as it heats up, we'll get it ready for our onions, garlic, and throw our carrots in here in just a minute. Ah, yeah, what a fantastic day. How's everybody doing? You doing okay? All right, the potatoes are boiling really well, so they should be ready here in just a little bit to start mashing up. I'll show you guys how I make mashed potatoes with a little bit of butter and Philadelphia cream cheese and salt and pepper and whatnot. But let's go ahead and get ready here to. There we go. Look at that, nice and warm inside there. We'll just set it on the metal of the beauty. Oh, look at that. That's fantastic. All right, I'm going to get some stuff going on in the center here, and then I will bring the camera over so you guys can see what it looks like inside. Get a little bit of olive oil in there. Let's get our beer out of the way here. We're going to start with our garlic and our onions. Let's get some of those in there. Pachow. Pachow. All right, we'll wait on the carrots a little bit. All right, let's bring the camera over so you guys can see what's going on here. All right. All right, so we've got some nice heat coming out of the Dutch oven now. We've got the ground beef already in place. We cooked that separately in the frying pan and then dropped it in. And then we put the garlic and the onions inside here. And now we're going to go ahead and just start sauteing those and mixing them in with get everything mixed together. If I get a little bit of sand in there, no big deal. It's not going to kill me. So let's get that all together there. All right. Now what I want to do is let that kind of cook down a little bit. So I'm going to put the lid back on. Now before I start introducing, I'm going to introduce a little bit of water and some more spices and whatnot, and then get the carrots and the corn in, and the no flip camera. There we go. and that'll give us the more of sort of like a stew to our cottage pie. We don't want it to be too watery, but we do want it to have sort of a gravy. We want to be able to create sort of a gravy down inside. So that will be coming very shortly. Let's grab a knife here and see how. Oh yeah, yep. Those are ready to be mushed. So let's shut that down. All right. Ooh, that's ground beef. Nom, 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 nom. All right. So we're going to go ahead and let those sit for a second. We're going to drain them here in just a moment. Let me go ahead and get the camera set back up. What we're going to do now is get the potatoes drained and get ready to start mashing them. Let's do that. Now, again, I'm in the field here, so we do things a little bit differently. I don't have a strainer, so I'm just going to use the pot lid here to drain my potatoes. All right. And then I'm going to set them over here on. Come here, you. I'm over here. All right, let's get them on the board, and then we'll turn our camera so you guys can see what I'm doing. Can you all see my potatoes? There we go, right there. Now, I like a little bit of cream cheese in my potatoes, so we're going to do cream cheese. Obviously, salt and pepper. Let's not forget that. A little bit of salt and pepper in there. Now, I don't like to use too much salt because I like to. I'm trying to be healthy. We'll see how that goes. But a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of butter. Now I use butter. I don't use margarine. So I hope this doesn't offend you. But if you use margarine, by all means, you can use margarine. It's not a problem. Let's get some. Now here's where I may lose some of you. I love cream cheese. I love cream cheese in mashed potatoes. This is going in my mashed potatoes. All of it right there. Huge. Oh, I love the way mashed potatoes come out when you've got cream cheese in them. So let me throw this away really quickly. One more ingredient out of the Jeep here. We need our condensed milk. Let's get some of that in there. Come on, get out. Some people will use regular milk, and I may add a little bit of regular milk in here too, but I like using condensed milk. I like my potatoes to have a little bit of a sweet, savory sort of feel to them. And then we're just going to start mashing. Oh, that's good. And again, I leave the skins on. I like the texture of my mashed potatoes with skins in them. I like the nutrients from it as well. I don't like really, really smooth mashed potatoes. I like more of a rustic feel for my mashed potatoes. So we are going to mash these, but we're not going to, you can see I'm not using like a potato masher. I'm not going to really focus too much on getting all of the lumps. This is actually going, these are already cooked, but these are actually going to be going on top of everything in the Dutch oven for the cottage pie here shortly as well. All right, so let's get these knocked out of the way. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh my God. You guys have no idea what you're missing. Keep the flies out of that. I need to spend some time with my spoon for a minute, so if you'll excuse me. I need some mashed potato time. I'm getting into my beard too. That's what beers are good for, though. Saving stuff for later. All right, let's let those sit for a second. Let's go back to our Dutch oven and see what we got going on in here. I'm going to bring you guys back over so you can see what I've got going on. Let me make sure you can see. I'm going to turn the... There we go, so you guys can get a little bit of a close-up of what I'm doing in here. we're going to start introducing the carrots. There we go. Look at that. Looking fantastic. All right, let's go ahead and get this here. Oh, yeah, look at that. You hear that? That sizzle? Everything's going great. All right, let's go ahead and get our carrots and our corn in there. I lost a carrot. Lost another carrot. Let's just bring the whole board over. What do you say? All right. Get our carrots in here. There we go. Carrots inside. Let's get our corn going here. Thank you for reminding me about the corn. I really appreciate that. I totally would have forgotten. Now, I'm not going to use all the corn. I like a nice balance in here. Let's get all these mixed up. Now, the carrots, this needs to stew for a while. All right, so you notice the carrots went in uncooked. I like my carrots a little bit softer. So what we are going to do is we're going to give this a little bit of water and a little bit of bouillon and sort of create a gravy down in there. I'm going to get the lid back on in just a second. Let's get that back on there while I go get the water ready. Let that start cooking. Let's get a little bit of water, a little bit of bouillon in there. We don't want to do that yet. Move you out of the way. Get you over here. There we go. A little bit of bouillon in there. A little bit of water. All right, not too much. Remember, we don't want it to be a stew. We just want to be able to create a little bit of a gravy down in there. So let's let that cook down a little bit. And we'll add the mashed potatoes in a little while. We don't need to add them just yet. We want to let this cook down a little. Get this back on. Now, you'll notice as I'm cooking, my coals are starting to gray over. So what I'm going to have to do is start some more coals here in just a moment and replenish the coals that are on the top and the bottom to keep the heat consistent. So that's the next thing we're going to do. I'm going to pull the camera back, and you guys can see me get some coals ready for the next batch. Get a nice little pyramid going here. All right. A little bit of fire juice. A little bit of fire juice. Fire juice. When I was a kid, I'm Gen X, so some of you might recognize this. When I was a kid, my dad and my uncles would start the barbecue coals with gasoline. Yeah. So I'm really happy to have this kind of fire juice and not have to worry about gasoline. Look what I got. I found the mashed potatoes again. Oh my God. If I'm not careful, I will eat all of these mashed potatoes before they have to go on top of the cottage pie. That could be dangerous. All right, so we've got some really good stuff going on with our coals here. As soon as the flames die down, we're going to go ahead and shift over and add some more coals to the Dutch oven. And then what we're going to do is add a little bit of flour to thicken up the moisture in there to make more, like I said, more of a gravy. And then we can go ahead and add the mashed potatoes to the top and let that really get to jamming. All right, so let me set the camera back up on my tripod, which I just knocked over. All right, everybody see it okay? Fantastic. Let's go ahead and get it ready for some more coals. All right. Come here, you guys. Yeah, you can see the wind. So I was out here all morning No wind whatsoever, but you can see the wind is starting to pick up now. Let's get that right down in there. That. So the kite surfers will probably start showing up here again very soon. So maybe you guys will get to see some of that. It ends up looking like the sky is full of ice cream sprinkles. They're just everywhere. It's amazing. Let's go ahead and add a few more to the top here. There we go. Put those back down in the hole and let them burn out. Let's let that heat up for a second. I want to get a little bit of flour. I want to get the mashed potatoes ready here to go on top. Now at the very end, right about the last 5 minutes of cooking or so, we are actually going to drop some shredded cheddar cheese on top of that as well. So let's go ahead and get a little bit of flour. Where's my flour? Hello, flour. A little bit of harina de trigo. A little bit of harina de trigo. That is wheat flour. Let's see. We got that. Yeah, let's go ahead and stir up a little bit of. Put this back down here where we got it. Let's pick this up. Oh, yeah. There we go. There we go. We got a nice boil going on in here right now. This is going to cook these carrots down very, very nicely. All right, we're just going to add just a tiny, tiny bit of flour just to sort of thicken this up into a gravy. Get that going here. Just a little bit, not too much. Come here, you. Like, I'm just going to put my flour on the knife here like this. I've never done cocaine, but I imagine that's what it looks like. I don't know why. I don't know why I shared that. That was really weird. Let's get and stir that up. Fantastic. Nice. All right, now, here's what we do next. Now it's time. First of all, let's try a carrot just to see how they're coming along. Come here, you. They need a little bit longer. But they're getting there. So, that means it's time to drop the mashed potatoes on top. We're going to spoon it in. We're not pushing it down into the mix. All right. We're just sort of spooning it onto the top and spreading it out so it covers all of the ground beef and the vegetables. It'll make its own little crust on the top here. I just realized I've got the lid sitting right next to my knee here. That's really warm. All right, and you guys can see that. I'm just going to spread the potatoes out a little bit over the top. Okay, cover it up a little. All right, like that. And then put the lid back on and let that cook in there for a little bit like that. And since I don't have my mom here to ask, I'll just ask myself. Michael, can I lick the spoon? Yes, Michael, you absolutely can lick the spoon. These mashed potatoes are delicious. So that is just about our cottage pie. There is one more ingredient, and that'll be the cheddar cheese here in just a little bit. And then, once the cheese is melted, every time to eat it. Oh my goodness, that's delicious.
All right, fantastic. Let's get our cheese. Let's get ready to drop some cheese on top of this baby. As soon as the cheese melts, we can start our bread here in a little bit. Cheese. Alrighty. The shovel. There we go. Look at that. Oh, that looks, man. Oh, that looks fantastic. Look at this. Spoon. Look at that. Now you can see we've got that gravy that I was telling you about. All right, we were able to get a nice gravy in there as well. Okay, looking fantastic. Now, let's just go ahead and throw some cheese on there. I'm a fan of cheese, so, and this is, I'm gonna be eating this for the next few days, so I'm gonna enjoy it. There we go. Let's get that back on top very carefully. That's the one thing you gotta be, you know, we talked about sand possibly getting inside the Dutch oven, which I haven't had a problem with, but you also gotta be careful when you're cooking with coals on top like that. You wanna make sure that you don't jostle the lid too much, because it can actually drop coals into your meal, and you don't want to do that. Oh, that's a good cheddar cheese too. Yummy. All right, let's see how we're doing here with cheese. Oh my goodness, not quite melted all the way yet, but there you go. So the next step is we are very carefully going to transfer the cottage pie into our bowl here, and that might make a little bit of a mess, but it is what it is, because you know, when I have it on the plate I kind of mix it all together anyway. But we are going to transfer it, and then we're just going to wipe down the Dutch oven, heat it up, and get it ready for the bread. So I'm really excited about that part. That's going to be a lot of fun. There, let's check our cheese. How's the cheese going? Oh, the cheese is melted. All right, guys, it's time to transfer. So let's make the best of this here. We are going to transfer this over and get ready for bread. Take that off and set you over here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let's go ahead and grab our spoon. Get some of the dough off of there. Our bowl. And holy cow, can you guys see that? Look at that. Oh my God, look at that cheese. I'm gonna make a mess out of this. I should have bought another Dutch oven so I didn't have to do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Let's go ahead and start transferring. Look at that. Oh my God, that looks amazing. Oh, it smells amazing. You guys. Oh, it looks so amazing. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna grab some paper towels, wipe down the inside of the Dutch oven very carefully because it is still really hot. Very hot. Wipe that down, and then we're going to go ahead and get it back on the coals momentarily. Get it heated back up so that we can use it for bread. I don't need to get it completely clean. It's pretty good the way it is. Not too bad. Let's go ahead and set the lid back on. Get that out of there. I don't need that in there. Ooh. Nope. Get down to where you are there, please. Let's put that back on the coals to get it heated up again. Let's get ready for bread. I'm going to let that heat up a little bit, and then we'll be able to get some bread. I'm not burying these here. I'm just keeping them from blowing away right now in the wind. Those will definitely go in the trash and come with me. So we're going to let the Dutch oven heat up here for a moment, and then we are going to toss the bread in and let the bread get going. And it's looking, yeah, look at that. That's going to be fantastic. You guys can't see the bread from right there, can you? But let's go ahead and show you what it looks like. Show you the bread here really quickly. Flip camera. All right, it's a nice simple dough. All right, you can see I didn't have to knead it or anything, and it's going to go right in the Dutch oven. And it's a very sticky mixture. All right, it's got some water to it. Okay, so it's going to puff up and get some air pockets in it as it cooks, which is going to make it even better. We are going to put a little bit of oil in the bottom, just to make sure our bread doesn't stick too much. There we go. Yep, getting nice and hot and sweet. Spread that oil around. All right, let's get ready to put some bread in, shall we? Get our shovel back over here because we need that for the lid. Right there. All right, let's get our dough in. Start to bake. Man, I got a lot of cleanup to do today. Woo! The bread is starting to smell really, really good. What time is it? Let's check the time. 1:19. I'm gonna go back and look at it again. I can't help myself. I might have too many coals on the bottom. No, it's looking really good, guys. Look at that. That's gonna be fantastic. I might get a little bit of a char on the bottom because I've got a lot of coals underneath. I may have too many coals underneath, but it's rising really, really nicely. I think this is going to be a really good bread, especially with the cottage pie. I do need to put where's my, first of all, like every good chef, I've got to try this. Oh my God. Holy crap. I'm going to be eating good for the rest of the week, y'all. Holy shit, that came out good. Oh my God. So, pretty easy. You know, we talked about ground beef goes in there. Garlic, onions, some sliced carrots. We got some corn in there. Then we got the mashed potatoes on top. The mashed potatoes are really easy. We generally got some mashed potatoes with some cream cheese, a little bit of butter, salt and pepper, a little bit of condensed milk to give it sort of a sweet savory flavor. Then we spread that on top of the stew mixture, and then once that kind of cooked down and we got a nice gravy underneath the potatoes, then we threw some cheddar cheese on top, and that's what I'm going to be eating that probably 2 or 3 times a day for the rest of the week. It's absolutely fantastic. And then of course the bread will go along with it. I'll be able to eat the bread, butter it in the morning, or make a sandwich with it. The bread will keep like this for about a week, so I'll have to finish it before the week is through, because it's a simple homemade bread. I don't have any preservatives or anything like that in it, but honestly, bread never lasts that long around me. I mean, look at me. I think you guys can tell bread does not last that long around me at all. So this is going to be gone in a few days. I wish some of you were here to enjoy it with me, because it's absolutely fantastic. I think you'd really enjoy it. Let's go ahead and check on our bread and see how we're doing. Maybe time to take the lid off. Let's see what we got here. How we doing here? Let's check it out. Looking pretty good so far. Oh, not yet. Not yet. Let's get that back in there. Get back in there, you. There we go. I think what I want to do is pull this off the bottom coals and get some more, take some of the bottom coals and put them on top. So we're going to do that real quick. Let's get some of these, get some more temperature up on top here, because it looks like the inside of the Dutch oven right now is heating unevenly. So we'll get some coals up on top to heat that up a little bit more. And then we'll spread out these coals on the bottom. And then we'll put the Dutch oven back on the bottom coals there. And that'll help us get some more even cooking going on the top of the bread. So yeah, there we go. All right, let's check the bread here. See how we're doing. Yep, it looks like it's cooking a little too fast on the bottom, so I'm gonna have to pull it out here. I think it's just about done though. Let's see how she's doing. Let's get my knife here. I don't have a spatula. Yeah, there we go. Oh, yeah, we're a little burnt on the bottom, but other than that, I think, let's see how we're doing here. No, yeah, I think she's in good shape. Let's see. I'm just gonna stab it through the middle. Best I can do. Stab it through the middle like that. Put it on the, there we go. I think it might be a little underdone because I had too many coals on the bottom, but it is what it is. It's still gonna be delicious. So there you go, there's our bread. I'm gonna go ahead and set up the camera here, and that way you guys can see me cutting into it and trying it. What we got here? Oh, hot, 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 hot. Oh yeah, look at that. All right, so still a little moist inside, you can see. All right, but I'm not gonna let that stop me at all. Get a little bit of butter on there. Oh yeah. All right, let's give it a shot. Oh. Oh yeah. Pardon me, excuse me. Oh, that's good. That's really good. So let's go ahead and take a little bit of our cottage pie. Get that on top there like that. All right. So there's our cottage pie and our homemade bread, both done in the Dutch oven. And thank you all for joining me here today. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, if anybody wants a copy of the video once it's done being edited, please shoot me an email, falkthisnonsense@gmail.com. I'll be happy to provide you a link with the video. Won't cost you anything. I'll just be happy to send it to you so you can enjoy it. All right. And if you ever decide to try this recipe or this style of cooking, reach out and let me know how it went. All right. Thank you, everybody. Bye, everybody. Slanja.